And here we will look at different examples of ideologies in different societies and in different countries. So, in America, there are different ideologies for different segments of the population. And some ideologies are more left-wing, some ideologies are more right-wing. It's a no-brainer. I'm sure you know that. And the major ideologies in America can include liberalism, conservatism, libertarianism, progressivism, and socialism. So, as we can see from this example, different groups in America share different ideologies. So, according to the liberalism ideology, it emphasizes individual rights, equality, justice, and it emphasizes support for government intervention to foster equity, to minimize inequality. It believes in progressive taxation, and it believes in implementing different social welfare programs to help the poor because it believes in minimizing inequality and fostering equity. It believes in environmental protection to prevent the factories from dumping waste in rivers in other places that cause water and air pollution and other hazardous conditions. And usually when that happens, the poor suffers. So environmental protection is also connected to social justice and equity and minimizing inequality. It also believes in civil rights, the rights to food, shelter, clothing, education, clean air, clean water, and so on and so forth. And usually, the Democratic Party abide in those ideologies, liberalism. But not all Democrats are liberals. Because we know the US has a democracy system and people are free to share different ideologies with others, unlike other countries characterized by authoritarian regimes. So, people who uphold liberalism, they believe in voting rights, the rights of LGBTQA+, environmental policy, ensuring healthcare access for all, and they believe in any kinds of anti-discrimination laws. And there are also segments of the population in the US that believe in conservatism. They have a preference for smaller government or limited government influence in different aspects of our life. They believe in free market capitalism, lower taxes, lower spending, strong national defense, upholding traditional values, and social stability. And the Republican Party members normally uphold this ideology, but not all of them. And people who believe or who uphold this ideology believe in the right to own guns, border security and border control, law enforcement, and upholding other cultural norms, especially traditional norms. There are still a segment of the US population that believe in libertarianism. They emphasize individual liberty, limited government intervention, and free market. So there are some overlaps between libertarianism and conservatism and liberalism, as we can see. And they strive to revive classical liberalism. People who believe in libertarianism, they want to revive classical liberalism. So there are overlaps between libertarianism and liberalism. And they are influential in different kinds of policy debates, whether it's voting rights, LGBTQ rights, or environmental sustainability, or healthcare access, or any kinds of discrimination laws, or gun control, or border control, or law enforcement, or cultural norms. They like to debate on these issues. And there's also a segment of the US population that believe in progressivism. They want reforms like those who believe in liberalism, they want social justice, and they push for the government to minimize systemic issues. So there are overlaps between liberalism and progressivism. And there's still a segment of the population that believe in socialism. They support public ownership of key industry to make sure that people's needs are met. They believe in wealth redistribution, like the liberalism people. They believe in equity and minimizing inequality. And they believe in having a strong social safety nets to protect people in times of hyperinflation, severe recession, depression, or other hazardous conditions, especially to protect the poor against these incidents. And they often have smaller parties, and they are activists of various sorts. Those who believe in socialism are usually activists in various sorts. And there are still a bunch of people who share the nationalism ideology. They emphasize national identity, sovereignty, and cultural preservation. So they are a bit like the conservatism ideology. So as we can see, there are overlaps among these 6 major ideologies in the US. Okay. Do you know who is John Adams? Yeah. And he has his own belief. Eventually, people buy into this belief. It becomes a shared ideas. It becomes John Adams' ideology. He believed in check and balances within the government to ensure liberty. And he believed in moderate form of representation in any democracy. He doesn't believe in utopia. And as we can see, to this day and age, John Adams' ideology is still influential in American politics. No one government entity, no one government agency, or Not even a small bunch of people in America can have absolute power, can rise to dictatorship. Look at how the American government is structured. Senate, Congress, judicial boards. None of them can become dictators. And all three entities are governed by check and balances. They are under scrutiny by the other entities. Okay. What about Andrew Carnegie? He was an entrepreneur, a wealthy person, but he believed that the rich should have a moral obligation to improve their society. Eventually, people buy into this idea. They share this idea. It becomes Andrew Carnegie's ideology. The wealthy have a social responsibility to build infrastructure, to improve on other kinds of amenities in a given society. And these ideologies continue to have a certain influence in the American society, as we can see. The wealthier folks, the well-to-do, continue to make donations to different non-profits and charity organizations, or they help develop infrastructure. They help improve on amenities in different locations. So we can say that people are still influenced by Andrew Carnegie's ideology in the US to this day. And we've been through this before when we talk about the elite theory of power. So we know that the educational system in North Korea is governed by the Juche principle. It's their ideology, or we can call it the Juche ideology. It focuses on self-reliance, political independence, economic self-sufficiency, and military autonomy. Is centered around the leadership of Kim Il-sung and his successor. I think it was developed by Kim Il-sung. And maybe people are being made, quote unquote, obligated to abide by the Juche ideology, given that kind of political regime. So, according to the political independence principle, North Korea should maintain sovereignty and self-determination, and this country should be free from foreign influence. And they teach that in the school. And it's logical to assume that students are deeply ingrained in this principle. And what about the economic self-sufficiency principle? It believes in autonomous economic development. And it doesn't believe in reliance on foreign or external trade. And this partly explains why China is one of the few countries that have ties to North Korea. China could be the only friend of North Korea. And what about the self-reliance principle? It believes in a strong independent military to protect the country's sovereignty. And this Juche principle also emphasizes the absolute leadership of the Kim dynasty. So, the North Koreans, the general population in North Korea, may feel, quote unquote, obligated to uphold this Juche ideology. It serves as the backbone of their educational system. So students are being taught this ideology at a very young age.